We are going to go to Fox News now to hear what President Obama has to say about his birth certificate. It's right here, right now.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Todd Starnes. A shocker at the White House. Within the past hour, they released the long-form version of President Obama's birth certificate. It's the moment Donald Trump and so-called birthers have been waiting for. The White House says it's proof positive that the president was born in Hawaii and not Kenya. Developments are fast and furious. The president about to make a statement from the White House. Let's go live there with Fox News Radio's Mike Makowitz. Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, Todd, the White House had changed its tune here in the last 24 hours. As recently as yesterday, they were basically saying they didn't want to dignify these attacks on the president, these questions about his place of birth, with a response. However, with the release of this document from the state of Hawaii, which administration officials say required a special waiver because of state rules, they say they wanted to put this to rest. They say that this issue had been ginned up into a fake controversy and that it was becoming a distraction for the president, and especially as he was taking up budget issues. The president's now in the room, and let's listen to what he has to say.
Now, let me just comment, first of all, on the fact that I can't get the networks to break in on all kinds of other discussions. I was just back there listening to Chuck. He was saying, it's amazing that he's not going to be talking about national security. I would not have the networks breaking in if I was talking about that, Chuck, and you know it.
Wrong channel.
As many of you have been briefed, we provided additional information today about the site of my birth. Now, this issue has been going on for two and a half years now. I think it started during the campaign. And I have to say that over the last 2.5 years, I have watched with bemusement. I've been puzzled at the degree to which this thing just kept on going. We've had every official in Hawaii, Democrat and Republican, every news outlet that has investigated this, confirm that, yes, in fact, I was born in Hawaii, August 4th, 1961, in Kapiolani Hospital. We've posted the certification that is given by the state of Hawaii on the internet for everybody to see. People have provided affidavits that they, in fact, have seen this birth certificate, and yet this thing just keeps on going. Now, normally, I would not comment on something like this because obviously there's a lot of stuff swirling in the press at any given day, and I've got other things to do. But 2 weeks ago, when the Republican House had put forward a budget that will have huge consequences potentially to the country, and when I gave a speech about my budget and how I felt that we needed to invest in education and infrastructure and making sure that we had a strong safety net for our seniors, even as we were closing the deficit, during that entire week, the dominant news story wasn't about these huge monumental choices that we're going to have to make as a nation. It was about my birth certificate. And that was true on most of the news outlets that were represented here. And so I just want to make a larger point here. We've got some enormous challenges out there. There are a lot of folks out there who are still looking for work. Everybody is still suffering under high gas prices. We're going to have to make a series of very difficult decisions about how we invest in our future, but also get a hold of our deficit and our debt. How do we do that in a balanced way? And this is going to generate huge and serious debates, important debates. And there are going to be some fierce disagreements, and that's good. That's how democracy is supposed to work. And I'm confident that the American people and America's political leaders can come together in a bipartisan way and solve these problems. We always have. But we're not going to be able to do it if we are distracted. We're not going to be able to do it if we spend time vilifying each other. We're not going to be able to do it if we just make stuff up and pretend that facts are not facts. We're not going to be able to solve our problems if we get distracted by sideshows and carnival barkers. We live in a serious time right now, and we have the potential to deal with the issues that we confront in a way that will make our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids proud. And I have every confidence that America in the 21st century is going to be able to come out on top just like we always have.
Listening to President Obama on
we're going to have to get serious
KTRH.
to do it. Now, I know that there's going to be a segment of people for which, no matter what we put out, this issue will not be put to rest. But I'm speaking to the vast majority of the American people, as well as to the press. We do not have time for this kind of silliness. We got better stuff to do. I've got better stuff to do. We got big problems to solve, and I'm confident we can solve them, but we're going to have to focus on them, not on this. Thanks very much, everybody.
President Obama there talking about the release of his birth certificate this morning, saying he's doing that because he wants to get the issue behind him so he can deal with larger problems facing the country.
Let's go now live to KTRH talk show host Bill Cunningham. So can you sleep better now, Bill?
I would say this. I was in the category of trust but verify. And I certainly, if somebody put a gun to my head and the answer meant my brains were on the table and the question was Obama born in Hawaii, I would have said yes. But because the guy has been so secretive about his medical records, his educational records, his achievements in Occidental and Columbia and Harvard, there were suspicions there was something afoot. I'm glad he did it. I think Trump's comments, I don't know if he carried those, but Trump has taken full credit for getting the long-form birth certificate released. But hopefully now we can talk about other issues that are germane to the good people of Houston.
So do you think it was Trump's comments earlier that got him to do this?
Absolutely. No question that without Donald Trump being on this for the last 2 weeks, Obama would have continued to have stonewalled the issue without reason or explanation. I do not understand why when Hillary Clinton raised this issue in 2007, he simply didn't release the darn thing back in 2007.
So why didn't he, Bill?
I have no idea. To me, the educational stuff and the medical record stuff he doesn't release is not makes him ineligible for the presidency. This was the issue that would say constitutionally he cannot serve. The other stuff is interesting. It's titillating, but it's not crippling to his presidency. He should have done it 3-4 years ago. He's done it now, and I say let's move on.
Yeah, you know, I think there was a poll this last week that indicated something like only 40% of Americans actually believe he was born in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, a few years ago, when about half of Democrats believed that George Bush was involved in 9/11, the media simply let that issue percolate without proving it false. About the same number of Republicans believe he was born in Kenya as Democrats who believe that George Bush was piloting the planes that brought down the World Trade Center. But the media did not obsess over the Democrats who believe stupidity. Obviously, the guy was born in Honolulu. I may deal with it every now and then, but let's face it. Let's move on to the issues of the deficit and China and gasoline and let this thing die.
Hear, hear. Thank you so much for talking with us. Love it as ever. That's KTRH Talk Show host Bill Cunningham. Never minces words, that's for sure. If you want to check it out, that long-form birth certificate is at our website, ktrh.com.